Welcome back to the Boy Time channel. Today, The Cure, The Head on the Door. My pick. First of the year, I think. Did
Wow.
we do Marvin this year? I don't know. It's confusing.
I think we did.
I think we did. I think that was our first of the year. This is my first pick of the year. Very different
That's
direction
true.
when we went last time, which is typical for our channel. If you've ever been here before, we like to jump everywhere with no explanation between. But that's just how we roll.
We like to have fun here.
Exactly. But this is the second Cure album we're doing on the channel. We did a Disintegration reaction like 2 years ago, I think. Somewhere around
Something
there.
like that.
One of the only reaction videos I gave a 10 out of 10 immediately after hearing. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, phenomenal album. One of my favorites ever. But I chose The Head on the Door today. I've been listening to this and I've been listening to Pornography
Mm.
for the past couple of months. And this one was a lot more, something that you would have been at least interested in compared to that album because Pornography is very dark and
Mm.
brooding, kind of disintegration life, but a little bit even more harsh in areas. So I'm like,
Okay.
I've been liking this one, so let's do this one. But yeah, this came out in 85. Disintegration came out in 89. Pornography came out in 81. So this is smack dab in the middle.
Oh,
The Cure seems to have two modes, the kind of spooky zones and then the pop albums. This kind of is like in the middle, I would say. So
okay.
yeah. But I think that's all the
Yeah, I would say.
context I can give.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about The Cure. You're more the Cure head. And actually, I would like to correct the record because you said that you chose this, but actually, I chose this
That's
because you
true. I
gave me a
forgot about
multiple
that. I
choice.
gave you 3 years and you had to choose. So you chose
I
85,
did,
surprisingly.
which was surprising even to
hmm
myself. And then while I was listening to the album, I was like, why did I pick the one that was from the 80s? Not that this album is bad, but I'm like, this
It's
is
an 80s
not
album.
my,
Yeah.
it's an 80s album. And for those who are familiar with our channel, I do not like the 80s. I think that the 80s in general is the worst decade of music that is easily accessible.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe
The 30s really sunk.
1680s were terrible. I don't know. But I decided to go against my gut because I figured, you wouldn't screw me like this.
hmm
Not your first pick of the year, of course. And I don't think you did, but I was getting hints of 80s stuff that I really like,
hmm
but I was also getting hints of 80s stuff that I do not. So I feel like I'm kind of middle on the road on this album, but I wouldn't say that I necessarily hated any moment on it.
Okay.
So I think overall it's a win.
Nice. I'm glad because I'm like, there's going to be something from The Cure that he's going to like latch on to a little bit more. I've only listened to three so far, so I was like trying to find that correct one. This is the first one I stumbled upon after Disintegration, and I'm like, damn. The first time I listened, the first couple of times, I'm like, okay, it's an album. And then like I kept
It
going
is.
back to it for some reason, and I'm like, wow, this is really there's like a ton of replay value in here because there's so many different things going on.
Yes.
And then it just kind of became a mainstay. But yeah, so many different styles going on. It's completely different sound than the other albums that they have that I've heard. Just going in every single direction possible. A lot of these songs are like kind of happy-ish sounding, and then the lyrics are typical like edgy Robert Smith dark kind of stuff, which is fun.
Yeah.
And then you have hints of that more post-punky kind of band that I'm used to with them. So just a lot of variety here. But I
Yeah.
think we can get into best tracks.
Do you want to start with me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. My number one favorite song is Six Different Ways.
Okay.
That is the one that every time it came on, I had to like make a note. I'm like, I have to see what song is playing because I was mostly listening to this on my earbuds at work.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, this is the one. And I just love the energy that it has. And it also has just a killer riff at the beginning of the song that carries throughout. And it's just a vibe. It's
Mm-hmm.
very, very nice. My number two favorite is probably Push, the one that
Okay.
follows right after it,
Yep.
and most of it is instrumental.
Yeah.
Um, but it's this great build. And then there's just like this big explosion where his vocals finally come in like in the last minute of the song, and it is just glorious. It's very very fun. And so I think that one kind of reminded me of like a really great like Tears for Fears song,
Hmm.
just in the way that like the drums were being played. And I love like three songs by Tears for Fears. I think that they are one of the best 80s bands, and I've only listened to three or so songs by them. And I refuse to dig deeper because I don't want to ruin that image in my mind. So I'll put that on record. But I think my number three favorite song might be the closer, Sinking.
Okay.
It's one that, is it the longest? It is.
Hmm.
And it's about 5 minutes. But the one on Spotify is the only release they have is the deluxe edition. So every time I was listening to it, it went right into the instrumental for In Between
Yeah.
Days,
Which
and
is
it
great.
transitions really
Like, yeah, I
nice.
was like, this is crazy for a deluxe album to like be that good.
Yeah, it was like I almost was like, man, you could kind of go into the deluxe. Like the deluxe is almost just like the cherry on top.
Hmm.
Because like I would get like 5 tracks into the deluxe and I'm like, oh yeah, wait, the album's
Yeah,
over. There's
exactly.
no vocals. Um, so I don't know. I think just the Spotify release or whatever is really, really nice
Hmm.
and that it transitions into great instrumentals. But those are my favorites. I think.
Yeah. That it is crazy that the deluxe is that good, where it like transitions nicely, and then it's like this is a really nice vibe. You get all the quirks
Yeah.
of the instrumentals, and it's really nice. But um, Six Different Ways is a bop. The freaking like the weird stuff in the beginning, and then it gets into the riff is just fantastic. I did have Push. Push is incredible.
Yes.
It's just the crazy styles of this album where it's like this is almost like a glam rock arena rock kind of track. And then another one on my list is the Baby Screams. It goes right into that, which is a complete
Mm.
opposite track. But the energy is still there. It carries it over really nicely. It's just weird and fun. I also had Close to Me. That might be my favorite. It's just weird. Like I love
It
the
is
little
weird.
like the almost like children's song kind of like beepity boops it has in it. Robert is way too close to the microphone in a really uncomfortable way, which just adds to the insanity of the song.
Yeah.
I just love it. I don't know. It's the same thing as kind of Lullaby and Disintegration, where it's like this is really uncomfortable, but in the best way. It's just like a really
Mm.
weird, off-putting, but really insanely catchy kind of track. And then I had A Night Like This, which has a crazy sax solo. It feels like a more traditional 80s hit.
Yeah.
But just the range in those four tracks alone are all completely different and they're all right next to each other, which is crazy. So that's like my favorite stretch of the album. Those are all my favorite tracks. And I think Sinking would be my fifth, just because like that is the most
Mm.
disintegration like one with that instrumental, and all the layering and gorgeous stuff that is going on there. But the punchy
Yeah.
stuff in this album's sick. And then I don't know. Kyoto Song and The Blood are also like you open your album with In Between Days, which is like a pretty standard 80s song. It's a really good
Yeah.
one. But then you get Kyoto Song, which is really weird and slow and kind of clunky in a good way. And then The Blood, which is like Spanish inspired. Like it just
Yes.
takes you on so many like weird journeys constantly. But yeah, I just named
Yeah.
almost all the album, but you know, that's how it goes. It's not like this.
I did want to bring up Kyoto song. It reminded me a lot of like Breakfast in America, Supertramp.
Hmm.
Not the song, but the album,
Yeah.
which I listened to. I was gonna say earlier this year, but it's 2026. I actually listened to it in last year for the first time, and it was very, very nice. I
Hmm.
was surprised. And so I was kind of getting hints of Supertramp kind of throughout the whole
Which is
album.
weird. You wouldn't expect to, but
No, but I think it's just like the quirkiness.
hmm.
Like that's what I love about that Supertramp album is that like it's so quirky, but like it's so self-aware,
Yeah.
where it's like they know exactly what they're doing, and I feel like that they know what they're doing here too,
Hmm.
where it's like they're just having fun. You can go super dark and sad with disintegration or pornography or whatever, but
Hmm.
sometimes it's fun to let loose and hang 10.
Exactly. And that's what I love about
That's what
this
I
one. So,
yeah.
all right. Any worst tracks?
Um, I think it's funny. I don't really like the baby screams.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know. That one, it's just that one is too 80s for me, I think.
It is
Where it's like
very, yeah.
it's
Neon
like
signs and
yeah, it's just a little bit too much. And then I think Screw also was a little bit
hmm.
too much. It was giving me like Van Halen vibes, and I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, not really for me. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Like two duds on an album from the 80s for me is
Hmm.
pretty phenomenal.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. I had Screw. That was my only worst track I had on here just because, like, I think it breaks the almost perfect streak from Six Different Ways down. Like, if it
mm,
went from, like, a night like this into sinking, I think it would be, like, again, The Cure putting up a perfect back half of an album, which seems to be a continuous thing for them. But I just didn't like Screw as much. I feel like it did like the kind of off-putting thing that Close to Me and The Blood did, but it like didn't hit me as hard.
mm.
But yeah, that's the only like negative track I have on here. Everything else is pretty great. I mean, I like certain songs more than others. I think it starts strong, but I think like In Between Days, Kyoto Song, and The Blood are all so different and so like they catch you off guard. It's like almost hard to get into the album, but once you hit Six Different Ways, you're like it's like cruising from there on out. So it's an interesting kind of sequencing that I got going on.
That's very true, actually. Because, like, the first time I was, like, trying to get into the album, I was listening to it, like, on my drive into
Hmm.
work. So I was, like, listening pretty much exclusively to the first four tracks. And I was like, man, this is, like, weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm really gonna like this. But then as I was listening to the album as a whole, I was like, okay, yeah, there is a really, really nice run there. But then
Hmm.
there's a bump with Screw. I would agree.
Yeah. Puts a screw in the whatever analogy you can make there. I don't know if there is one with a screw, but whatever. It screws it up.
It does, but then thinking saves it.
It does.
Like, I feel like there's so many albums that like we've listened to and also in general where it's like the last two songs just fall off
Hmm.
and they just like lose all the energy from the album. So like I'm actually glad that the closer is as good as it is
Yeah.
because like that kind of defies the pattern, especially from this era.
Hmm. Real. Any best moments?
Best moment, I think it is the explosion on Push.
Okay. Yeah.
I think like it, and we've talked about this like a lot recently, where it's like these giant builds have been like phenomenal, and I've grown to appreciate them a whole lot more.
Hmm.
I feel like if you went back to some of our earlier videos, I would have been like, I don't know what this is, and why do you feel this way about it? So boring. But now I've like completely 180'd and I'm like, man, this is just really, really fun. Especially like the energy keeps going.
Hmm.
There's like constant stuff changing. I feel like sometimes, even now, there's like, man, like the build just takes too long with some of the stuff that we do. But I feel like it's like a perfect length for what it is.
Hmm. Yeah. Even just the
So,
start of that song, because Six Different Ways it kind of dies out a little bit. Like the energy's lower on that song, and then Push just like punches you in the face and gets like the energy right back up where it needs to be.
absolutely.
But yeah, I had the run from Six Different Ways all the way down through A Night Like This is just that's the best run of the album right there.
Sure.
Just incredible stuff with the variety in there. And then I also had just like the chorus work on this album is really great, which is surprising
Yeah.
because like Disintegration's like literally perfect, but that album does rely on a lot of that lingering building and like that kind of stuff. So I'd never like took Robert Smith as like the chorus as being one of his strong suits, which I guess makes sense if you look at like pictures of you and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
the choruses are so different than what you normally hear on our 80s record on here in some of these tracks, and they work really well. Like they're just straight earworms. So I found that like really, really nice. I think that's like,
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of like 80s pop either, but like I'm finding a lane in the Talk Talks and the Cures and like these things
Oh,
where I'm like,
sure.
I'm finding the qualities that make the 80s pop music fantastic. And these artists like really just lean into it. And it reignites what like I think is a genre that just like is like really overplayed. But if you just dig a little bit
Yes.
left to center, like those things are getting put into play like pieces that just like work so much better than the mainstream stuff that you hear growing up or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are my best moments here. I don't know if you have any hot takes.
My only hot take I realized recently is that I'm not like the biggest fan of Close to Me. I know
Hmm.
that was one of your biggest your best songs. It's not like one of the worst songs, obviously, but I was shocked to see that it's like one of their most streamed songs,
That's
like
surprising to me too.
of all of their
Yeah.
discography. I mean, there's like the big hits like Boys Don't Cry and Friday I'm in
Right.
Love, which are obviously like the big ones. But I think it's yeah, it's number 4.
That's crazy.
Like, I was like, "Really?
On
This
the album that
song?"
has In Between Days and Push on it, the obvious like hits.
Yeah, well, In Between Days has about, like, 250,000,000.
Okay,
So
that's
that one's
still,
still really
yep.
big, but Push is only it's under 20,000,000.
Interesting.
I yeah, it's kind of shocking, but I guess that's kind of my hot take. I don't quite get Close to Me and why everybody likes it so much.
It's phenomenal.
Please explain it to me
It's the freaking
in the
do
comment.
do do do.
I
Like it's
don't know.
it's great.
It's like a soundtrack to a Yoshi game is playing in the
It is.
background. It's so
This whole album
confusing.
sounds like the freaking like the scary Japanese version of like Nintendo bootlegs. Like this whole thing has that kind of vibe, which
You know,
is
that's
great.
that.
So
Yeah, there was like trend like a couple years
mhm.
ago of people doing like fake anti-piracy screens for
Yes.
Nintendo games, and I
Yeah.
feel like all of these songs kind of
Yeah.
could be one of
The
those.
Pokemon creepypasta, like all that kind of stuff. It fits the
Lavender
vibe.
Town scary.
Exactly. um my hot take. I don't know if this is like a hot take, but I think this is better than Pornography by like a pretty
Oh,
decent margin.
okay.
Pornography is actually weird because it starts with the best song on the album, and it is like a phenomenal song. It is like top 5 Cure from what I've heard. But like I think it does the thing where it kind of sits in the same pocket a little bit too much. Like it has the really
Mm.
insanely eerie and dark and disturbing tone to it, but like it kind of keeps that the whole way through. So like it starts really strong and it ends really strong, but there's a little bit of a divot in the middle. I think this is like a lot more engaging. And Disintegration does what Pornography does, a lot better. So I don't know. I think it's Disintegration, then this comes right after it. So I don't know how hot of a take that is. I know people recommend Pornography a lot, getting into their catalog just because it is one of the more popular ones. And I don't know. I guess in general, we obviously weren't there during the 80s. How popular were these albums? Because like I never hear the Head
Good
in the Door
question.
mentioned like when people talk about 80s albums. I don't have a
Mm.
sense of how popular the Cure were. I know they were like mainstream adjacent, but I don't think they were like
Yeah.
insanely huge like the Van Halens and stuff like that.
No, I think they were like at least a step below,
Hmm.
but like still a household name for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, absolutely.
Like you can talk to your grandma and say The Cure, and they
Hmm.
would say, "Oh yeah, I think I remember something about that."
I think that's the
But
weirdest
that
part about me going back to like 80s music and finding the stuff that I like is just like I get that they were popular, but what level of popularity are we talking here? It's hard to kind of
sure.
skew that as I'm like listening to this stuff because I'm like, this is like really forward thinking 80s music. So like how much play was this getting by like normal people? Like that was my main thing. I'm
Hmm.
like, this feels like I'm like digging up gems, but I know this is a pretty popular record. So
I mean, see if it was ever on Casey Kasem and hear what he
yeah.
had to say, because that would be a pretty good indicator.
Hmm.
I remember there was a radio station in Iowa. I think it's still around. I don't know if they still do this though. But every Saturday they would play a Casey Kasem, just the entire broadcast. So
Hmm.
like it would have his intro and then the song, and it would be like the entire thing. And I remember always loving to listen to that because it would be like, this is this hot new single by this new band. They're called Van Halen or whatever. And it's
Hmm.
like, oh, this is like so quaint,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and so I don't know. I wonder, it would be kind of interesting to like hear his take on it because he would also do like this article said this about it. And so it was kind of interesting.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a video essay or something, but on the radio. It was
Interesting.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Might be worth a listen.
Exactly. I feel like I'm needing context. I think my Talk deep dive was like, there's not a lot of information out there regarding the
Mm,
band or interviews or anything. Like they had a couple of pop off albums and then like went into like, I don't know, the B or C tier of popularity. So it's like there wasn't a lot there. I know The Cure, there's like a ton, but I just haven't looked into it yet. So, but yeah,
sure.
I think that's it. This album's
That's it.
phenomenal. Unless there's anything else you want to add or any closing thoughts on it.
Do we do ratings on this show?
We kind of do ratings. I don't know what system or anything. Disintegration's a
You
10 for me. This is a 9, if that's any.
okay. I think that's fair. I think this is a 7 for me.
Okay. That's pretty good for an 80s pop album.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. And I'm a tough grader on things.
Hmm.
So I like this quite a bit. And I will probably listen to it, not for the show,
Okay.
which is,
That's
I don't
that's
know.
the biggest win
It's
you
very
can
good. Yeah.
get.
But for what we're going to do next, I was actually going to do kind of a similar thing for you
Okay.
that you did last time, but we're going to do genres.
Ooh.
So do you want a folk album, a soft rock album,
Mm.
or an R&B album?
Hmm. Hmm.
What are you feeling?
I think I know what folk album you're going to pick, and I've been listening to it a lot, if that's the one that I'm thinking
You don't
of.
know
Okay, I
Jack.
don't know. All right. I feel like we should go R&B because we don't do enough of that on the channel. We did just do Marvin Gaye, but that's not
Okay.
R&B. So
No, that's soul. And if you think that's the same thing, you should eat rocks.
exactly.
Uh, okay. Well, we're gonna do Mutt by Leon Thomas.
Okay.
I've been listening to it for about a month now, and it's very, very nice.
Hmm.
And it has some features from some nice boys
Freddie
like
Gibbs
Wale
and Wale and Ty Dolla
and
Sign.
Ty Dolla Sign. But yeah, for those who don't, I mean, this guy's like, he's blowing up right now.
Hmm.
But you may know him because he was on the hit show Victorious.
Oh, it's
He
that
played
guy.
Andre.
That's why his
Yes.
name was familiar. That's interesting.
That's why I was, yeah, because I think I watched a video. It was just like a general music thing, and they were
Hmm.
talking about the Grammys because I think he was nominated for a whole bunch for this like most recent Grammys. And I was like, man, I should check this out because like I've been hearing stuff about him, and I obviously remember him from the show.
Hmm.
And this album is like phenomenal.
Okay.
So we're gonna dive into it. It's a little bit quirky R&B, but I
Hmm.
think you'll still enjoy it. And you do like quirky more than I
I
do.
like quirk.
So
Yeah.
so I think it'll be a win.
Yep.
But that's what we'll do next
It's
time.
the opposite of the Nickelodeon star. Usually it's the women and they go into pop. You don't see a lot of the men coming out of Nickelodeon and then getting into music or Disney or
No.
anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. He was on the same show with Ariana Grande,
Yeah.
and their careers have had vastly different trajectories. Leon Thomas was not in Wicked, unfortunately.
It's true. Probably for the better. So,
Probably for the better. Yeah.
not for his bank account, but in terms of quality, I'm sure.
No, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of his like albums, they have like really good features. Like his
Okay.
album from 2023 has Benny the Butcher and Victoria Monet on it.
Interesting.
So it's like he gets
And
good
Ty
people. and Ty Dolla Sign. How could I forget? I just don't want to bring him up because he's related to the Nazi guy. Even though he has maybe one of my favorite verses on a Thundercat song, on that song.
That is true. That is true. Ty Dolla Sign has his moments. He's
Yeah.
very one note, but when the note is good, he's really great.
I don't even remember what that song is. And Thundercat's coming out with a new album.
He is. Everybody's dropping soon, so I think you're probably going to get like 2 or 3 more episodes of our picks, and then we're going to be going into a lot of new stuff because we got Snail Mail, we got Mitski, Thundercat. What else is happening? There's more.
There's an Iron and Wine album. I don't know if we'll do that because we haven't done them on the channel, but they are very nice. I don't know what else is coming out. I know those are the big ones.
Oh, there's a Baby Keem album coming out. I'm so
really?
excited for that. Yeah. James Blake.
How have I not heard about that?
I feel like the announcements are so frequent right now. It's kind of hard to keep up with it all.
That's true.
But yeah, Thundercat's in April. Mitski's
Okay.
late February. I think Snail Mail is early March.
That sounds correct.
So
yeah,
we'll be busy.
this might be the last one. If someone, do you say Mitski is in late February?
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, this might be the last one actually for Mitski. That is true. That is true.
All right.
All right. Well, you know what's happening after after Leon Thomas.
We got a lot of new releases. Yeah. But that's all I have to say, I think.
Me too. We have podcasts where we do stuff on it too.
We do. Yeah. We have the Boy Time podcast where we talk about hit films generally. Most recently, we did an episode on Arrival. And then what's happening next is a surprise. You'll never know.
A good surprise.
A good surprise. And then I also do the Love to Mom podcast with my dear mother. And we also talk about hit films. Most recently, we did the Station Agent. So yes, that's what we did last time. And then we were going to do American Graffiti, and then my mom watched an hour of it and said, "This is so boring. Can we do something else?" And so I don't remember what we're doing next off the top of my head, but it will be coming soon. So there you go. That's the new
My dad
schedule.
loves American Graffiti so much. I think it's his favorite movie.
I haven't seen it. I was kind of surprised that my mom said that. I was like, "It's your call. If you want to change it, you can." And so she's like, "Okay, I'm going to," because I have nothing. I have literally nothing to say.
Times to be like that.
Yeah. So sorry, George Lucas. Won't be talking about you on the channel, or Harrison Ford. So
Not in that format, at least.
not in that movie. We've talked about Harrison Ford quite a bit on the channel, actually, but it's fine. Those are all the plugs.
That's the tea.
That's the tea, sister.
Bye.